Stories are alive. The Growl. Earlier, I'd talked about the night duty of checking all the doors. Well, one night I'm doing the door check solo, and right after I verify this one outbuilding is secured, the fire alarm goes off. Mind you, this is a tiny outbuilding. It's has a single bathroom, hallway with like a closet and like a big open space with nothing but a fridge and a sink. No stove, no furniture. The storage closet just empty, just hangers. So I radio it in so the control staff can prevent the fire station from being alerted, and I go in. I reset the alarm, which is claiming there's a fire in the bathroom. I go check. The bathroom is not on fire. Nothing is amiss. The light works fine. The fan works fine. No smell of smoke. Nothing. I radio the all clear. The alarm goes off again. This time it says the kitchen zone, where I'm standing. I check everything. No fire. No issues. I reset it and radio that it is again clear. I get approved to turn off the breaker for that building, which will prevent any sort of electrical issue. So I do it. And as I turn to leave, the alarm goes off again. Which, by the way, this is not a battery powered little alarm thing, like the ones in your house. It's connected to the breaker. It's a big panel that has alerts for fire, for door breaches, for window breaches, etc. And it's connected to the power that I just turned off. I'm thinking, fuck this. And then something growls. I hear movement too in the hallway zone that I just cleared a minute ago. I know there's nothing there, and no one is in there. I verified all the doors and the windows. I checked every nook and cranny. But something growled at me. I ran, and I never looked back. The dorms. At one point, I worked in a place where it was like a dormitory for a step down program for criminal kids. Basically, if they serve time in kid jail, they would go to, it's like an unsecured facility, kind of like dorms. They weren't allowed to leave, but we weren't allowed to stop them if they, decided to. We just had to call the police, and we would report it, and they would take care of that. We called them dorms. The dorm I worked for was 3B, and it shared a wall with the 3C, and the thermostat with 3C. Now 3C was empty, but it was a mirror image set up to a 3B. A living room area that was connected, open concept to the kitchen. A single small bedroom, bathroom. A single small bathroom. And 2 sleeping rooms each with a bunk bed. And a TV on the wall. Staff members had keys for the bathroom to ensure that the kids could go in. No kid can go in. Staff member has had keys for the bathroom to ensure that no kid could go in while someone else was in, or sneak in, or hide, or do drugs or something. We also had keys to the drawers and cabinets and fridge to prevent turning cutlery into, weapons, or eating or even destroying the food. The thermostat had a cover as well and a key. It was to prevent it from being ripped and being converted into some type of makeshift something. I noticed early on that at night the temperature would get crazy cold. As a person that pays a lot of attention, I'm kind of used to getting super cold, just to kind of relax. So I didn't really think much of it. I figured that the staff and 3C were kind of turning it down. I figured it must have been a new guy, the cheeky fellow. I would hear him doing the night searches, the same as me, bumping furniture, opening doors and drawers, stuff like that. Just normal sounds. He didn't play music like I did, but I figured he was probably just like a reader or something. But one night it got so damn cold. My nose got all drippy, and one of the youths complained and asked if they can get a second blanket. And even my fingertips got a little cold. So I figured, so that's it. I had decided I had enough. And I would talk to 3C, about maybe hiring up the temperature a little bit. So my supervisor just happened to come by to give me my break. I told her I was going to go ahead and pop next door and, talk to the new guy about the thermostat. She stared at me and she grew pale. Then she shrugged and said, sure, go ahead. So I go through the office, to get to the other dorm, and it's empty. Dark. I turn the lights on. No staff. No youth. No made up beds. Dead. Empty and dusty. There wasn't any employee. In fact, there weren't any employees on that dorm. I ran back to 3B. I saw my supervisor. She gives me this look like, yeah, I know. I'm, gasping for air. She's like, that's why we keep that one empty. Don't grab me. I used to work overnight changing grocery store prices. And the whole team, we were all pretty much convinced that the place was haunted. Those big, heavy, swinging doors to the back would literally open all the way and no one was there. Cans and other products would literally fly off the shelves, then all the way to the other side of the aisle before hitting the ground. My second day, I was working in the freezer ice cream section, and I heard a triple knock from the back. I decided to answer back. I knocked twice. The knocking continued for a while and followed me down the doors. I found out later that there is no access back there. It's a solid wall. But the one that did make me jump was when I was alone once. I went to catch a frog that had gotten inside. It went right underneath the shelf, so I got on my knees and without looking, I'd seen them somewhere along the edge. I just kind of felt around for it. Then something grabbed my hand. I screamed as loud as I could, spring backward, knocked stuff from the shelves behind me, and just ran out the door. One of my managers ran after me and asked what happened. I told her, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that happens sometimes here. Nobody's been hurt though." It's a very terrifying place. Night at the park. I used to work the night shift at an amusement park. I normally worked during the winter, and obviously the park was closed for the season. So normally was like one of two people in the entire park, and the other one was like right next to me. Normally, it was a cleaning lady or one of the cleaning crew. We were driving around just to check up on everything when the phone started ringing on like every ride and in every building we drove by. And I don't mean at the same time either. But it was like the ringing phones were following us. If this was some sort of prank, it was pretty impressive because each phone had like a different number, and we're talking like 25 or 30 phones were ringing. That was creepy as hell. No longer your room. I had always worked as a night nurse. Hospitals are already a very intense place full of energy. People die and people pass. People are in pain. Both patients, doctors, and families. And a lot of energy can be felt around, especially in the night shift when there's a little bit less staff. It feels like the energy is just a little bit more palpable. As a night nurse, I have seen some creepy stuff. One night I had a patient die unexpectedly in her room. I found her while she was gasping for her last breath and quickly called the code team to intervene and, get her to the ICU. Unfortunately, she did not make it. But shortly after the patient call light in her now empty room kept going off repeatedly, over and over again. I would answer the call light, go into the room to try to, figure out what was setting it off, but I never found anything amiss. Finally, like around like what felt the 12th time it went off in an hour, I answered the night call using the speaker and addressed my now dead patient. Miss so and so, you have passed on and it's no longer your room. The call light stopped lighting after that.